Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Ready to jump into some pretty intense stuff today.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, so we're diving into a source today that is really interesting.
Hmm.
It's basically all about embracing hardness, rejecting softness.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's got me thinking. What exactly does that even mean? What does hardness mean in this context?
Yeah, that's a great question because, you think of hardness and you think of, physical strength and toughness,
Yeah.
but that's not really what this source is getting at. It's
Yeah.
more about inner strength resilience,
Mm.
the ability to face challenges head on, not backing down.
So, like when you think about a time when you've overcome a setback or you've achieved something that you didn't think you could do, it's that inner strength that you had to tap into.
Exactly. That's what this source is all about. Like that moment when you push past your comfort zone and you realize you're capable of so much more than you thought.
Okay, so it's about pushing yourself, but what is softness in this context? What are we supposed to be rejecting here?
Well, this piece kind of paints softness as this like complacency,
Yeah.
like giving in to fear, giving up on your dreams.
Oh, so it's like, taking the easy road, settling for less than you're capable of.
Exactly. It's about choosing comfort over growth. And while, ambition is great, there's a part of me that wonders if this source is being a little extreme.
How so?
Well, it seems to frame comfort or ease as like weakness.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's like almost like a black and white view, no middle ground.
Right. Like there's this one example, I think it's in the second paragraph. It compares a person who's soft to a ship that's never been through a storm,
Oh, wow.
implying that they haven't been strengthened by challenges.
That's a really powerful image, I got to say.
Right.
But I mean, is all discomfort valuable? Does every challenge make us stronger?
That's a good question. And I'm not sure this source really addresses that. It's definitely pushing this idea of like actively seeking out difficult experiences.
Yeah.
Like embracing that growth mindset, always looking for ways to learn and improve.
So it's not just about enduring hardship, but like intentionally using challenges as opportunities to grow.
Right. And this connects back to something we talked about a few episodes ago about self-discipline. The source really emphasizes that. It's about having the willpower to push through those tough moments and come out the other side.
So think about your own goals, everyone. Does this idea of pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone resonate with you? Like, is there something you've been wanting to do, but you've been holding back because of fear or self-doubt? Maybe this is the nudge you need to take that leap.
It definitely makes you think. And the source also talks about the company you keep, like surrounding yourself with other hard people.
Oh, interesting. So like finding people who are also on that path of constant growth and self-improvement.
Exactly. But this is where I start to have some reservations. I mean, could this lead to neglecting supportive relationships that aren't focused on constant striving? Like, what about the people who offer you love and encouragement, even if they're not, on this hardcore self-improvement journey?
It's a good point. Like maybe there needs to be some balance there.
Right. And that's something we'll definitely want to explore further as we go deeper into this source.
Okay, so far we've seen that this source is all about resilience, self-awareness, pushing boundaries.
And having that growth mindset.
Right. But it does seem to frame these as like universally positive traits without much nuance. So there's definitely a lot more to unpack here.
Absolutely. And we'll continue to do that in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
Something that really sticks out to me about this whole hardness thing is how much it focuses on the individual, Like it's all about pushing yourself, reaching your potential.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like a lone wolf mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just go out there and conquer the world on your own.
Exactly. But I think it's important to also consider the role of community and collaboration. I mean, we don't live in a vacuum, right?
Right. We're part of this whole web of relationships and systems.
Exactly. Think about like any major achievement in history, scientific breakthroughs, social movements, even successful businesses, they all involve people working together.
Yeah. You need that collective effort, combining different skills and talents to achieve something bigger than any one person could do alone.
Right. And even on a personal level, we all need support, encouragement, a sense of belonging. It's not about rejecting people who aren't on this like hardcore self-improvement path, but recognizing that different people bring different strengths to the table.
Yeah, and what might look like softness to one person could actually be someone else's way of protecting their energy or prioritizing what really matters to them.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
this source is saying any deviation from this hardness ideal is a weakness, and I just don't think that's true.
Yeah. This whole conversation is making me think about the language we use to describe these qualities.
Yeah.
Like hard and soft, they're so loaded.
Oh, right.
Maybe instead of labeling people, we should focus on understanding what motivates them. What are their fears, their aspirations? What does success even look like to them?
I think that's a much more helpful approach for sure. It's about recognizing the complexity of human experience and appreciating all the different paths people take. And this actually reminds me of something we've talked about before, anti-fragility.
Oh, yeah. It's not about being unbreakable, but being able to adapt and even grow stronger from challenges.
Exactly. And this source seems to think hardness is about being like this impenetrable fortress.
Right. But I think true strength is about being flexible, knowing when to stand firm and when to yield, when to push forward and when to take a step back.
Totally agree. It's like that saying, the oak breaks in the wind, but the willow bends and survives.
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah. So I think while this source has some good points about self-reliance and growth, it's missing that piece about community and empathy and recognizing that there are lots of different ways to navigate challenges.
Yeah. It seems very focused on this individualistic idea of hardness. But like you were saying earlier, so much of what we achieve comes from collaborating with others.
Right. It's like the source is saying, go conquer the world, prove your worth. But real progress happens when people come together.
And even on a personal level, we all need support from others. Guidance, encouragement. Like no one achieves greatness in isolation.
Exactly. Think about athletes pushing their physical limits. They have coaches, trainers, teammates. Even the most brilliant scientists rely on collaboration.
It's like there's this beauty in shared struggles and helping each other through tough times, in celebrating each other's successes.
Absolutely. It's like this safety net that catches you when you fall. A team of cheerleaders urging you on. A group of wise mentors offering guidance.
It's interesting to think about how this idea of hardness might be different in different cultures.
Oh, yeah. That's a great point. What's considered strong and resilient in one culture might be seen as totally different in another.
So maybe instead of trying to define hardness in this rigid way, we should explore all the different ways it can express itself.
Totally. And recognize the value of different perspectives and approaches to life's challenges.
So maybe instead of just focusing on individual resilience, we can also acknowledge how interconnected we all are, how we need community and empathy and compassion.
I think that's a great way to frame it.
It's like we're taking this source's message about hardness and kind of evolving it.
Yeah, expanding it to include a wider range of human experiences.
And that's what makes these deep dives so awesome. We don't just passively listen to information. We engage with it. We question it. We use it to better understand the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So what do you think our listeners will take away from this deep dive into hardness?
Oh, man. I'm excited to hear their thoughts. This source has brought up some seriously interesting questions. Questions that'll stick with us long after this episode's over.
And as we head into the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore how to actually integrate this idea of hardness into our lives in a way that's empowering and sustainable. As we're wrapping up this whole hardness thing, I can't help but think about balance. Like the source is all about hardness being this ultimate good thing, but isn't real strength about finding harmony between, seemingly opposite forces.
Yeah. You're hitting on something that philosophers have been talking about for ages. It's this idea that we need both hard and soft qualities to thrive.
So it's not about choosing one over the other.
Exactly. Think about the concept of yin and yang, the balance of opposing forces. Light and dark action and stillness. You need both to make a complete picture.
That's a great way to put it. So we need the strength to face challenges, but also the flexibility and compassion to adapt and connect with others.
Exactly. Too much hardness without any softness can make you inflexible. But too much softness without hardness and you're just going to get walked all over. It's about finding that sweet spot, that dynamic equilibrium.
And this makes me think about self-care. Something this source didn't really talk about much. It's all about pushing limits, constantly striving. But if you don't take care of yourself, how can you keep that up?
That's so important. It's like running a marathon without any water breaks. You're going to burn out. Real resilience has to include knowing your limits, resting and recharging, nurturing yourself so you can keep going.
Yeah. Like they say, put on your own oxygen mask first before helping others.
Exactly. You can't pour from an empty cup. And that's where self-compassion comes in, treating yourself with kindness, understanding your limits.
This has really made me think about what hardness means to me. It's not just about pushing through no matter what. It's about being adaptable, resourceful, but also kind to myself. knowing when to push and when to rest.
Me too. It's like we took this source's message, which seemed kind of one-dimensional at first, and made it into this multifaceted exploration of what it really means to be strong.
And that's what we want you to take away from this deep dive too. What does hardness mean to you? How do you balance strength and flexibility, ambition and compassion, resilience and self-care?
Such good questions to think about. Ultimately, your definition of hardness is going to shape your journey.
So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing yourselves to grow. But be kind to yourselves along the way. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next
Yeah.
time.